Welcome back to Good Things Delmarva. I'm here with John Winslow, who's the program director at the Addiction Center in Dorchester County. And just tell me a little bit more about how the program helps people with addictions.
Well, we have a comprehensive outpatient program at Dorchester County. It's people come from all ages, from adolescents through no limit to how old somebody can be. We work with men and women from all walks of life. The common denominator is they all have some form of substance abuse problem or another. So we have a program in our jail local detention center for men and for women. We have an adolescent program and we have an adult program.
Right. And so what type of addictions do you typically see you coming in?
Well, these are substance abuse problems, so it's going to run the range from any kind of addictive substance, from alcohol through heroin. Primarily what we see is alcohol, marijuana, crack cocaine, but we end up experiencing folks with all kinds of substance abuse problems.
Right. And with your program, it's not really a rehab, right? Is it different from a rehab?
Well, when people use the term rehab, typically what they're talking about is a residential setting where people go and stay 24 hours around the clock for periods up to 1 month, sometimes extended periods of time. The outpatient program that we have allows people that are not in need of being placed in a protected environment to be able to continue on with their lives while getting the appropriate treatment that they need.
Right. And how do you separate the two? If you say you have a family member who is suffering from an addiction, how would you determine whether to put them in a rehab or?
Great question. And the first step we do for all folks that come to see us is we do a thorough assessment. We may do a preliminary screening over the phone to determine whether or not they're appropriate for need to come in to see us. We work on a sliding scale, so we don't reject anybody for inability to pay. We work on a sliding scale, but when folks come to us either through walk-in, they can just show up at our doorstep and we will do an assessment, or what we prefer is a scheduled appointment. We do a thorough assessment to determine not only the degree of problem that they may have with their use of substances, but also other problems they may have as well, mental health problems, physical problems, and so forth. Based on our determination of the severity of their problem, we're going to then, using some specific criteria, figure out whether they need to go to a higher level of care, detoxification, for instance, or residential treatment, or we'll be able to meet their treatment needs at some level in our outpatient program.
Okay. And when you, excuse me, when you, I guess, have a family member and you want them to get better, and they have the interventions where they try to, force people into, I guess, into getting better, getting over the addiction. When you do that, does it really help? I mean, can a person get over an addiction unless they really want to? I mean, can you really be forced into?
Well, it used to be the common belief that using the concept that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Right.
However, we add to that, but you can make them thirsty. So we recognize today that it doesn't matter how somebody comes to see us. Most of our folks are coming to us through the judicial system in some fashion or another, parole or probation, the courtroom, juvenile detention, what have you. So a lot of people come initially into treatment being very resistant and guarded.
Right.
We understand that. We're glad to work with folks. We don't tell them they have to be motivated for treatment. We view that it's our job to entice them, encourage them, and educate them so that they are interested in a new way of life.
And when you enter the program, typically, what is the structure of it, if you can, I don't know.
Well, we have varying programs, so it sort of depends on the program that we have. We have 3 levels of treatment. One is an educational level, whether that's somebody that has for an adult, a DUI arrest, driving under the influence. If it's an adolescent that has had a problem, but not to the degree of severity that it requires more intensive treatment. The same with DUI, that's what we call a social drinker, but not really a problem drinker. We will just provide educational services to them. The next level of care is what we call substance abuse treatment for someone that has been diagnosed as having an alcohol or other drug problem, but not yet to the point of being dependent or addicted. And then our highest level of care is for those that have been diagnosed as having a dependency or addiction.
So if a person does have a dependency, and if you have an older adult and an adolescent, you know, I know you have two separate programs for that. Would that determine, or do you sometimes put the adolescents in the more severe with adults? Or
no, we keep the two of them different. They have different needs. They respond to treatment in very different kinds of ways. We have some great staff that work with adolescents, and it would be hard for a lot of folks in working with some of the kids that we have in treatment because they're very challenging. But our adolescent staff are very loving and great people, work with kids really well. So depending on the level of their treatment needs is going to determine the frequency that they come and the intensity of the services.
Stay with us. John Winslow is going to be back to talk more about the addictions program. We'll be right back.